Second Generation by Kathleen Russell. Backstory. My name is Willow. I am Katniss and Peeta's youngest daughter. I have tan skin, gray eyes, and black hair. My older brother, Rye, is about 2 years older than me. He is 18, while I am 16. The Hunger Games still go on, even though my mother and father destroyed them. My mother taught me how to hunt when I was 6. She takes me out hunting sometimes, but usually I go alone. My father, Peeta, runs a bakery with Rye, my older brother. Rye wanted nothing to do with hunting. When I bring home a dead animal, squirrel, deer, wild dog, he would gag and walk down to the bakery to ignore it all. Me and Rye are both at risk of being reaped, but we've been safe for the years our names are in the bowls. Rye is friendly and makes friends anywhere he goes, while I am cold and closed off. The only friend I have is Kiera. She is Gale Hawthorne's daughter. We go hunting together, and we sell things at the Hob, even though we usually aren't taken seriously until we mention our parents. We usually sell berries we pick, wild dog fur we don't need, squirrels we hunt, and bread my father makes. We usually get most coin on the wild dog fur and fresh bread. Chapter 1. When I wake up, I open my eyes slowly and sit on the edge of my bed. I comb my long dark hair through with a wooden brush I made a few years ago. I put my hair in a long braid going down my back and slip on my hunting boots. The leather has molded to my foot, making my foot shape, making the boot more comfortable to wear around the woods. I put on my jacket and walk outside. I see Rye already walking down to the bakery before Mom and Dad have woken up. We are the early birds of the family. I walk to the bakery after Rye, and he gives me an annoyed look. I grab a small loaf of bread and put it in my pocket. He rolls his eyes and wipes down the counter with a damp cloth. I walk out of the bakery through the back door and head to the fence on the outer edges of the seam. I listen closely to see if the electric is on, just like my mother taught me to do. But, just like usual, it's not on. I slip under the fence and walk deep into the woods. I walk to a hollow log and pull out a quiver of arrows and a wooden bow. I hoist the quiver over my shoulder and climb into a tree. I see a rabbit drinking at the stream in front of me. I raise my bow, aiming it at the rabbit's head. I let go of the string, and the arrow shoots at the rabbit, hitting it in the eye. I climb down and retrieve the rabbit. Kiera's footsteps appear beside me, and I turn to look at her. Willa, Kiera's nickname for me. She sounds excited, but I don't know how she's excited on reaping day. Willa, she says again. This time I roll my eyes and say, What, Kia? Kia is my nickname for her. Kiera says she caught 100-pound doe. We can surely sell that for 50 coin at the Hob. My dad already carried it to the Hob for us. Let's go, and, bring that rabbit. She starts walking in front of me as I pull the arrow out of the rabbit's head and carry the rabbit by its ears. I put my quiver and bow back into the hollow log. Me and Kiera slip under the fence back into District 12. We walk to the Hob where Kiera's dad, Gale, is carrying the deer a few feet in front of us, into the Hob. We catch up with him. Hey girls, who should we sell this to? I look around, my eyes go to the young woman wiping animal blood off of the counter. She's known for taking animals for a fair price. So I look at Gale and say, Caitlin. He walks over to her and puts the deer on the counter. She gives him 50 coins. She takes the deer, and I put the rabbit in front of her. She only gives me 20 coins for it, but I take it and put it in my pocket. I shrug and walk back home, where my mother, Katniss, is grinding herbs for medicine, and my father, Peeta, and my brother, Rye, are getting ready for the reaping. I walk to the table and put the coins on it. My mother has set out a periwinkle dress on my bed for me, her gold mockingjay pin, and black shoes. I get in the warm bath and scrub all of the dirt from the woods off of me. I change into the dress, my black shoes, and clip the mockingjay pin on the dress that was my mother's from the year she and my father won the games. I walk downstairs to see my mother in a pearl-colored dress, Rye in a button-up shirt and pants he only wears on occasion, and my father in a beige button-up shirt and jeans. I fix my pin, and my mother walks over to me. She sits me down and braids my long black hair down my back. Chapter 2. Me, Rye, our mother and father walk to the reaping stage. Rye and I give our hands to some peacekeepers, and they prick our fingers and stamp our blood on a page, and we are told to walk to 2 stations. Rye stands with the boys, and I stand with the girls. Effie Trinket walks on stage to a microphone while while the mare, Miss Madge, sits on one of the 3 chairs. My mother and father sit on the other chairs because they are the mentors now. I look beside me to see Kiera looking tense and a little nervous, even though our names are only in 5 times this year, while my brother's name is in 7 times. It's not much, but there's still a chance we could get picked. Effie taps on the microphone, and in her capital accent, she says, "Welcome to the 86 Hunger Games, and may the odds be ever in your favor." I know Effie. She visits sometimes, but I still hate her fake capital accent and tone. She walks to the female tribute bowl, her loud shoes making noises as she walks. "Ladies first," she says before putting her hand in the bowl and pulling out a name. She walks back over to the microphone, opening the small slip of paper and reading, "Kiera Hawthorne." I look over at Kiera. She looks like she's about to cry. But she walks past me, and before I let her go on stage, I run after her and grab her arm. I shout, I volunteer as tribute." My mother and father look at me from the stage, surprised and shocked, but I don't care. I'm saving my friend. Effie says, "Great. Well, dear, come on up." I walk to the stage and stand next to Effie, looking at Kiera crying as she stands in the crowd, covering her mouth with her hand, looking at me. "And what's your name exactly, dear?" Effie says with an excited as always. "Willow Malark," I say bluntly, looking at Rye with a tear in his eye, shaking his head. "Can we have a round of applause for our newest volunteer ever since Miss Katniss Everdeen?" Effie says. No one claps, but they raise 3 fingers to their lips and raise their hands. I try not to show any emotions, and I have success in this. Effie walks to the male tribute bowl as everyone lowers their hands. "Now for the boys." She puts her hand in the bowl and picks a name. She walks back to the microphone and opens a slip. She reads the slip of paper. "Skylar Atticus." I look towards the boy walking slowly, his tan skin, wavy black hair falling over his forehead, and his emerald green eyes are captivating. He stands on the other side of Effie, looking into the crowd, a little shocked his name was picked. Now, shake hands," Effie announces. I look at Skylar and shake his hand. He probably noticed I was emotionless, but really, I am hiding everything I feel. Chapter 3. As I, Skylar, Effie, my mother, and my father walk to the train, I keep my fists clenched and my arms on my sides. Once we are on the train, me and Skylar sit on 2 chairs next to each other, and our mentors, my parents, sit across from us. You both need skills, wits, and I cut Katniss off before she says the last word. "Strength?" Katniss nods. "Yes, Willow, I know your skills and strengths, and you're smart, too." I look down at my hands in my lap, trying not to look proud of what our mentor has said about me. Skylar scoffs and rolls his eyes. "That's what we're not going to do," Katniss says. Her eyes dart to Skylar. "You two need each other. You're all each other has in that arena." Katniss says this to Skylar. "Agreed. You two are allies." One second. "Agreed. You two are allies now, not just tributes chained to the same fate." This is the first sentence Peeta says to us. His jaw clenches as he acknowledges both me and Skylar. Effie sits at a table, painting her nails, paying no attention to our conversation. I stand up and walk to my room on the train, trying to accept my fate, and that I may not come out of this alive. Chapter 4. I take my hair out of the braid. My mother put it in this morning, and I take out the pin from my dress, putting it on the bedside table, and sit on the bed in my periwinkle dress from this morning. I slip off my shoes and lay in bed under the thin blanket, and I fall asleep in moments. When I awake, I run my hands through my hair and put it in a braid, going down my back like every other day. When I walk out, I see Katniss talking to Skylar about how to survive. Peeta and Effie must still be asleep. I sit down, my eyes going from Skylar on one end of the table and Katniss on the other.